Let's now catch up with One Nation leader and founder Pauline Hanson, joining us live from Canberra. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. There's another aspect of this budget that hasn't got enough attention yet, and I want to get your thoughts on it, and that is immigration. They keep telling us that they're going to pull down the immigration rate. We had record levels of immigration last year, and even if they stick to what they've promised in this budget, that is pulling it down to 260,000 people next year, that's an incredibly high level historically, isn't it? They're talking about trying to getting it down to the highest levels of the Howard government era.
Well, that's right. They've never been able to stick with their numbers. They've always increased it more than what they say in their budgets. The two previous budgets, they've said they'll have it at so many, yet it's always increased a lot more than what it is. Even at 260,000, Chris, there's a lot of migrants in the country, and that's what the Coalition had under the Morrison government, which I still complained about it at that time, and they realised and they dropped it to 190,000. The student intake in 2019 was about 590,000 students of 580,000, and yet this year 703,000 students. So the big problem is that a lot of the students coming into the country. Migration is the biggest problem that we have, and the lack of housing. Yet the government says, oh, we're fixing up because we're putting billions of dollars in housing. Yet we don't have the tradies, all the supplies, all the equipment, the materials to build these houses. It's a joke. They're pulling the wool over people's eyes who fall for this smoke and mirrors stuff that they're pulling out and telling people what they're going to do. It can't happen, Chris.
Well, their target this year was 315,000, but they're going to end up with nearly 100,000 more than that. So a target of 260,000, you can't believe it, but even that probably is too high given the housing crisis and other factors, as you mentioned. Now, I've got to get your thoughts on this electricity rebate. You know people are doing it tough. You know that power prices are killing households. But you have a situation now in your own state of Queensland where people are being promised a $1,000 rebate from the state government and $300 rebate from the federal government. How about somebody just actually fixing the electricity system and delivering cheap power?
Totally agree with you. Go to the source of why our electricity power prices are just skyrocketing due to Labor policies. That's what it's about. This heading down the path of net zero emissions is actually destroying our cost of living, and that's why it's rising. It's only sugar hit for the state government and also the federal government to give these rebates back. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Why don't they look at the fact as if you want to help anyone, instead of utilising this money, because we're paid it in our taxes and through subsidies. You're paying dearly. So if people think they're actually got to win here, think again. You haven't. You've already paid it in your taxes. Everyone pays it, even through GST. So we're all paying for it. And Queensland, 47% of our bill is actually paid to the state government for the powers and wires that we own anyway, but we're paying them again for it and getting delivery of our electricity through maintenance. I'd like to see the money, instead of the rebates to the people. I know people are doing it tough, but geez, there's a lot of pensioners out there that would dearly love to stay in their homes. Now, all they've provided is 24,000 packages for people to keep in their own homes. Wouldn't it be lovely to see these people, over 100,000, still waiting for care packages to stay in their own homes instead of ending up in nursing homes that cost the taxpayers a lot more money to provide for them? So the money's not well spent. Go to the source of why is our electricity prices soaring. This is only a sugar hit, people. You're going to see increasing power prices beyond March next year.
Now, we've often seen politicians wear their favourite footy scarves into the Parliamentary chamber, especially around State of Origin week and all that sort of thing. But have a look at these pictures here. Here's Pauline Hanson in the Senate today wearing an Israeli scarf. And let's hear from the Senate President as to how they dealt with this.
Can I please ask that you either turn around the scarf that you're wearing or remove it altogether? It is against standing orders for you to have any slogans upon your dress. So can you please do that before I allocate the call to you?
Well, you've got a bit of a history in this area. I do recall you turning up in Parliament in a burqa once, Pauline Hanson. Yep. But an Israeli scarf, it's hard to see how that breaches standing orders. I wonder if anybody's worn a Palestinian scarf in the Senate yet.
Of course they have. The Greens wear it all the time. They just do it to be antagonistic. And the fact is that I'm standing up for those the Jewish people in this country that have been poorly treated, those university students. I feel for the Jewish people, and I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve when it comes to this issue, and I'm sick of hearing saying about the Palestinians and genocide that's happening. There's no genocide. I'll put it this way. Palestine would dearly love to get rid of Israel and genocide. Have no doubt about it. But you know what? They can't. They don't have the power to do it. Now, Israel could well and truly genocide Palestine or Gaza because they've got the military might. But you know the difference is they won't. So the fact is that the Greens calling this as genocide, it isn't. Palestine invaded Israel and, killed 1,200 people, took others hostages. It's appalling what they did. Let's face the facts out there and people understand what's going on here. And if anyone did it to Australia, we would stand up and fight and defend our country as well.
We would eliminate Hamas. It's the only thing any government could do. Thanks for joining us. You need to get one of these badges that I've got. It's a little bit less conspicuous than a scarf.